Welcome to another exciting season of NASCAR Heat from Infograms. This year we've got a whole new crop of exciting racing scenarios for you to master. One of the huge additions to the franchise this year is the inclusion of 3 more NASCAR racing leagues. For the first time anywhere, you'll have the chance to test your skills at everything from the short dirt tracks of the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series to the wide world of open wheel racing in NASCAR's Featherlight Modified Series. Heck, if you're good enough, you might even get to try Daytona without a restrictor plate in a NASCAR Craftsman truck. Let's not forget the big guns of the NASCAR Cup Series. Think you have the horsepower to master them all? The only way to find out for sure is to strap yourself in and try to beat the heat. The road to the Winston Cup starts a long time before the Daytona 500 at the beginning of each season. Every driver you see on the Cup grid each Sunday has hundreds of hours of racing under their belt, and even the rookies have been driving for years. You're about to embark on your own quest for the Cup, but just like the real NASCAR drivers, you have to prove yourself many times before you're actually given a shot at participating in the big show. The life of a racer is a tough one. No one starts out winning each race. You'll need practice and money, a lot of money, before you'll be running with the leaders in each league. But don't let the difficult early races get you down. As you race, your skills will grow, as will your budget and the quality of your ride. Before you know it, you'll be running at the front of the pack, a real contender for the championship. We'll keep an eye on your progress here in the studio and hope to be reporting on your success real soon. Good luck, rookie. Almost all racing fans dream of competing for a NASCAR Winston Cup championship, and you're probably no exception. That's why we've decided to give you a shot at glory within our NASCAR Heat Championship Season mode. Championship Season is a race for the title in any one of the 4 leagues you choose. We'll still use the NASCAR point system, but you don't need to worry about meeting any sponsorship criteria or hiring the right team members. In fact, all you need to worry about is keeping your eyes on the track and your opponents in your rear view mirror. Think you have the skills it takes to compete with the best that NASCAR Heat has to offer? Well, one of the quickest ways to find out is to race for the season championship. So whether you prefer the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, the NASCAR Featherlight Modifieds, the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks, or the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, we got you covered. What are you waiting for? Strap yourself in and make us proud. Well, once again, we're looking forward to another season of the world's greatest racing, the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. We're just about ready to head to the Daytona pits for the start of Speed Week, but before we do, I want to highlight just one more driver that, while new to Winston Cup this year, has in fact become a real veteran of NASCAR racing. After winning the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series last year, the driver of the Sears Die Hard truck was quickly snapped up by the Polaris team to see if any spark could be given to their floundering effort. And after seeing the way the number 202 truck dominated last year's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, I, for one, am pretty interested to see what this driver can do now that they finally have a chance to play with the big boys. Well, it's time to head down to the track for all the action. Let's see how it goes. While most NASCAR fans are familiar with the top 3 NASCAR racing series, most are not aware that there are 13 different leagues under the NASCAR banner. As part of our extended NASCAR coverage, we're going to highlight some of the other NASCAR leagues. This week we're going to talk about NASCAR's Grassroots League, the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. Since teams that run in this league are on very limited budgets, the races are short enough so that pit stops are not needed. In fact, many of the tracks in this series are so small, they don't even have an infield pit area. This also means few yellow flags. Probably the biggest difference between this league and the upper divisions are the way the race qualifying occurs. Instead of 1 or 2 qualification laps, heats are run. Each racer starts out and runs a normal qualification lap. Drivers are then ranked based on their time. All of the even drivers put into heat race 1, the odd drivers in the second heat race, and so on. The top half of the field from both heat races advances to the A main race, while the bottom half finishers run the B main. Now, the B main is always run before the A because the top 3 finishers are allowed to start in the A main, generally at the back of the pack. Got it? For many rookie drivers, just making it to the A main will qualify the weekend as a success. So now let's see how things turn out here at the season opening race from the Dundas County Fairgrounds. Continuing with our extended NASCAR coverage, today we'll look at the oddest looking vehicle under the NASCAR umbrella, the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series. Now, believe it or not, this is actually the oldest league in NASCAR, a series that began in the late 1940s. It's also the only league in NASCAR to run without fenders. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, these are open wheel cars. Light and fragile might be a way to describe these vehicles, but that certainly wouldn't do justice to the races. The mods run a diverse mixture of small local tracks, a single road course, and even a few stops at some cup venues, making this one of the hardest fought jewels in the NASCAR crown. While there are 1,000 stories in any racing league, certainly one of the most talked about happenings in the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series this year is this one. A young NASCAR Weekly Racing Series champion has been picked up by the Klipsch team to drive their number 397 car. While it probably will take more than a single season for this team to make a run for the championship, the talent shown by this young driver is unbelievable. Well, it looks like the action's about to start, so let's head down to the track. Welcome to the Pro Trainer section of NASCAR Heat 2. Here you'll have a chance to go one-on-one against your favorite drivers at some of their favorite tracks. We're going to put you out on the track so you can learn from a pro, or better yet, maybe even beat them. Each time you select a track, a driver will come on and tell you what they feel is the best lap around that track. Pay attention, because it might just provide the information you need to excel in this mode. After passing the start-finish line for the first time, you'll be joined on the track by the driver's car as a semi-transparent image. And every time you cross the start-finish line, the game will restart their best lap. Your job? Catch them if you can. So whether you're trying to pick up a few tips to see how the pros drive, or if you want to see how long you can hang with the big boys on the track, the NASCAR Heat 2 Pro Trainer mode is the perfect place to start.
Okay, a lap around Michigan Speedway. We're off of 4 to get the green flag, across the start-finish line, running wide open, maybe 180, 190, staying out next to the wall, kind of a curved front straightaway, so you got to keep turning just a little bit. You're going down into turn 1, you're saying, oh, got a lift. It's way, you drive way down in there, and driving kind of high into 1, cut down across the center of the corner, and probably try to race off the middle groove off of turn 2, right out next to the wall in the back straightaway. Same thing into 3, drive it down in there a lot deeper than maybe you think you can, and make a real wide arc into turn 3, pull it down to the center of the corner in 3, and back to that throttle wide open, and same thing, kind of off the middle groove in turn 4, right up next to the wall off of 4, and hang on to the start-finish line. Well, you got kind of a kink in the front straightaway coming to the green. You cross the start-finish line. Got a little bit of a kink in the dog leg on the little kink to the left. Not a place where you get real far down into the corner. You lift fairly early there and try to get right to the bottom lane, probably a third of the way into the corner, and back to that throttle wide open. Try to keep it right down on that bottom groove all the way through turn 2. Up right, well, you got a little room between you and the wall once you get off 2 if you're going good. Down the back straightaway, which feels like a little washboard. You're up and down, and big sweeping wide entry into turn 3, and right down to that, pull that car right down to that bottom line. Same thing, a little hump in turn 3, and once you kind of get over top of that, bang, put that throttle down wide open, and drive it off 4. Same thing, a little kink to the left before you get to the start-finish line, and you're back.
At New Hampshire International Raceway, you want to be up against the wall coming down the front straightaway. Hard under the brakes and braking in a straight line is the best way to enter turn 1. Get right down to the white line and get off the brakes as quick as you can. Let it drift up maybe a foot or 2 and get right back down to the white line coming off of turn 2, and drive hard down that back straightaway. Same thing in turn 3. You want to get in there deep, brake hard, get off the brakes as quick as you can. Get to that white line, let it drift up a little bit, and then get an awesome run off of turn 4 to the start-finish line.
Perfect lap at Atlanta is probably the most hair-raising experience you'll ever have in a race car. You head off into turn 1 at over 200 miles an hour and crest over the bump getting into turn 1, just barely crack out of the throttle, right back in it, 3/4 of the way through the corner, wide open, down the back straightaway, over 200 miles an hour into turn 3, barely crack the throttle again and right back in it, right against the wall coming off of turn 4 and back into the straightaway coming down the front stretch towards the start-finish line. Phoenix, neat racetrack, very, very flat. Emphasis on your car handling are very high. Head into turn 1, very tight, very different from turns 3 and 4. Get into the corner, let off. Right as you start to turn into the corner, you're hard onto the brakes. You got to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack to get off of turn 2. When you get to the middle of turns 1 and 2, pick up the wall coming off of turn 2, aim for the end of the wall, get back in the gas pedal as hard as you can, all the way out to the wall, head through the dogleg down the back straightaway, aim right for the curb on the bottom of the racetrack, all the way back out to the walls entering turns 3 and 4, right back to the apron of the racetrack, right on the yellow line, get on the brakes hard, get off the brakes, let it roll through the middle of the corner. When you get to the bridge, hammer back into the gas pedal as hard as you can, right back out to the wall and back to the start-finish line for a lap at Phoenix.
Texas Motor Speedway is a fast place. This is one of the racetracks that you can drive hard all the way around. Drive off, coming to the start-finish line, you let off early getting into 3, come really hard in the gas. They've done a lot of things to this place to make the cars handle well. Come up off the racetrack, cut the tri-oval off, come to the green flag. Go into turn 1 pretty hard. You got to lift a little bit. As soon as you lift, get the car to turn and get it set just a little bit. Hard on the gas, up off of 2. Straight down the back stretch, go into 3 reasonably hard, but you got to lift a little bit unless you got your race car just perfect. Let the car turn a little bit for you. Come straight off the corner the best you can. Come back to the start-finish line to the checkered. It's a good place to race. One of the tricks to getting around Dover good is coming to the flag. You go into 3, you let up early, get that race car to the bottom of the racetrack, come off right on the bottom, use up every inch of racetrack you can. Get up next to the wall, you go down through the start-finish line, coming to the green. Go into turn 1, you can go into turn 1 pretty hard, but you got to give up a little bit coming off of 2. Get the car cut really good, come off straight as you can, the track gets real tight coming off of 2. Straight up the back stretch, pretty hard into 3, same deal. 3 and 4 is a little easier than 1 and 2. You can hit the throttle early, come off on the bottom of the racetrack. There again, you use up most all the racetrack, get up next to the wall, come back to the checkered, and do it all over again.
At Las Vegas, when you come across the start-finish line, hold it right down by the white line. Let the car drift up to the wall going into turn 1. Hold it up by the wall as long as you can and drive it in as deep as you can, but use just a little bit of brakes. Not too much, just a little bit. Bring it down to the white line in the center of the corner. Get back to full throttle as soon as you can and let the car just eat up off of turn 2. Take it right up to the wall. Drive down the back straightaway as fast as you can. Get down into turn 3, drive it just like turn 1. Hold it up by the wall, bring it down to the white line, get back to that throttle as soon as you can. Use just a little bit of brakes. And come off turn 4, bring it up to the wall as close as you can again. And hold the pedal to the metal till you get to start-finish line. Bring it down to the white line again and start all over.
The best lap around Bristol, Tennessee is definitely on the bottom of the racetrack. You need to stay right on the bottom of the track, going into turn 1 and coming off of turn 2. And when you go into turn 3, you want to stay as high as you possibly can, enter turn 3, then make that late cut right to the very bottom of the track, come off of turn 4 on the bottom and back to the start-finish line. If you can do that, you'll win Bristol. In order to win at California Motor Speedway, you got to have a perfect lap, and a perfect lap will take you past the start-finish line into turn 1 very, very high and making a real late turn down into turn 1 about 1 car length off the bottom of the racetrack. You hold that line real close to that white line, just a little bit off of it, all the way through the center of 1 and 2, and then as you come off of turn 2, you blend out to the wall. You come down that back straightaway, picking up a lot of speed, approaching almost 200 miles per hour, and then again, a real late entry into turn 3, then right to the very, very bottom of the racetrack through turn 3 and 4, and then you let the car kind of run out off of turn 4, and here comes the start-finish line, and if you can do that right, you're going to win California.
When you come to take the white flag, you just try to make the track as small as you can. Run right on the bottom, and when you come off turn 2, don't run out against the wall, kind of run in the middle of the track, and 3 and 4 right back on the bottom. And when you come up off turn 4, don't run all the way out to the wall, just kind of stay a car length and a half away from the wall and just try to make you drive the start-finish line straight as you can.
Okay, cross the start-finish line hard down into turn one. You want to keep it right on the bottom because that's the fastest way around. You push a little bit up off turn two, right out by the wall, real fast down the back straightaway, and again, hard into turn three. You want to make sure your entry into turn three is proper so you can get that run off of turn four and come back past the start-finish line, and that's how you win it over Down Speedway. Here we are, past the start-finish line at Texas Motor Speedway. You go right out by the wall, get a good entry in turn one. Come off turn two, you kind of push out by the wall, real fast back straightaway. Real hard down in turn three, again, right on the white line. You come off turn four into that D-shaped oval, right past the start-finish line, and that's how you win at Texas Motor Speedway.
This season, NASCAR Heat is getting down and dirty by letting you compete in NASCAR's Grassroots Series, the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. This series is run all over the country on a variety of tracks. In NASCAR Heat, all of the Weekly Racing Series will be run on dirt tracks. In this first challenge, it's your chance to get a feel for what it's like to drive on the dirt. You're coming into the final turns at Dundas County Fairgrounds and need to reach the finish line in less than 13.5 seconds for a bronze, 12.75 for a silver. A time of 12.4 seconds will earn you the gold. The NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series is actually the oldest division of race cars in the history of NASCAR and the only open-wheeled series in the NASCAR Touring Division. Modifieds are the most unusual looking cars that race under the NASCAR name, looking something like a cross between a sprint car and a dragster. It's the only tour in which the cars don't have fenders, so go easy on the bumping. In this scenario, you need to take a smooth, fast line around turns 3 and 4 at the New Hampshire International Speedway. You need to cross the finish line in 17 seconds for a bronze, 16.6 for the silver, and if you can achieve a blazing 16.3 seconds, you'll take home the gold. Now, you may have to take a few cracks at this one to learn the feel of the car. NASCAR Featherlight Modifieds are very light, responsive vehicles, and they can take some getting used to. Good luck!
Hello race fans, I'm Ken Schrader. Besides being a Winston Cup driver, I'm also the owner of Schrader Racing and sometimes the driver of the number 52 Federated Auto Parts truck. The Craftsman Truck Series started in 1995 and has quickly become one of NASCAR's premier racing series. Craftsman trucks run on many of the same tracks as the Cup cars, but as you will quickly find out, due to totally different aerodynamics and a lower compression engine, they're a whole new beast you'll need to learn to tame. For your first taste of truck racing, see how well you can handle turns 3 and 4 at Martinsville. Turn in 13 seconds flat for a bronze, 12.6 for silver, and if you're a real ace, turn in a time of 12.3 for the gold. I'm going to let you drive a number 52 Federated Auto Parts truck. Just make sure you don't scratch the paint. Good luck.
Okay, now you've had a taste of our 3 new series, let's turn up the heat a notch. For your 4th challenge, we're returning to the NASCAR Featherlight Modified League, and we're going to put you behind the wheel with 1 lap to go and 3 cars ahead of you at Mankato Raceway. Use the lightweight and great handling of the modified car to weave your way to the front. Pass 1 car for the bronze, 2 for the silver, and if you can overtake all 3, you win the gold. Nice job in that modified. Think you can do as well in a NASCAR Craftsman truck? Well, let's try an almost identical scenario, this time at Dover International Speedway. The trucks have a lot more weight than the modified you just drove, but they also have a lot more power. Can you outsmart the other drivers and find a way to get to victory circle? Again, 3rd wins the bronze, 2nd the silver, and you need to beat them all to take the gold.
Drafting has become one of the more important aspects of NASCAR Winston Cup racing. For this challenge, we're going to put you on the track for a little practice session at Talladega. You need to stay in the draft of Ryan Newman and cross the line in under 50.5 seconds to take the bronze. It may take a bit of practice, but once you master this technique, you'll be a powerful force on any superspeedway. Breaking 49.6 seconds will earn you the silver. And to prove that you're the master of the plate tracks, follow Ryan to the flag in under 49.2 seconds.
Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Dave Blaney. What do all these NASCAR Winston Cup drivers have in common? Well, they all started out their careers racing on the dirt. By some estimates, America has as many as 1,200 dirt tracks around the country. The best of these are chosen by NASCAR to host their NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. The racing at these tracks may not have the polish and glitz that today's Cup races do, but that doesn't mean the guys who go out there every week want to win any less. In this chapter, we're going to test your ability to go fast in the slippery stuff. The first challenge is to learn how to pass. Sounds simple? Well, passing on a dirt track requires a little bit different technique due to the handling of your car and the cars around you. Because your car slides around so much, you have to plan each pass much earlier. Also, since the speeds you'll be racing at are a little bit slower than what you see at a cup race, expect to see a lot more bumping and grinding for position. You'll start at the Egan Speed Bowl in 10th place with 2 laps to go. 5th place gets you the bronze, 3rd takes the silver, and if you really master the mud, you can take 1st place and the gold. The Baxter Fairgrounds Tri-Oval is one of the more difficult dirt courses to master in our version of the series, but it'll become a lot of fun once you master the power slide. Many times the race is either won or lost in turn 2. Let's see if you can tame this tricky section of the track. Your goal is to power slide through this turn and get to the line as quickly as possible. Now be careful, because hitting the wall or driving on the grass will disqualify you. A time of 15 flat earns you a bronze, 14.5 seconds is worth the silver, and if you put it all together and you should be able to turn in a time of under 14.2 seconds, you get the gold. Dirt track races may have only 20 cars on the track at once, but when that track is a narrow quarter-mile oval, the action gets plenty tight. A bad qualifying position usually means that a driver really has his work cut out for them. Guess what? We're going to give you just such a task. You're going to take the wheel with only 3 laps to go at the Anoka City Speedway, but with most of the field ahead of you. Do whatever it takes to push yourself as far to the front as possible. Make it to 5th place for the bronze, a top 3 gets you the silver, and as always, a win earns the gold. But I'm sure it's not possible. Well, maybe. Let's see how you handle the Anoka Oval. A long dirt race usually takes its toll on the performance of your car due to the rough nature of the league and the aggressiveness of other drivers. Even though you may be a bit banged up, you can still finish at the top of the field though, as long as you anticipate the moves of the drivers behind you. In this scenario, you're in 1st place with 3 laps to go at the Dundas County Fairgrounds. However, your car's taken a beating and it's not performing as well as you'd like. How many of the hard-charging field can you hold off before the finish? Well, if you manage to stay in the top 5, you'll earn the bronze. 3rd or better takes the silver, and if you can hold them all off, you'll walk away with the gold, if you're still in one piece anyway. Minor and major altercations occur frequently during a dirt league race. It's your job to steer clear of these mishaps as much as you can and use them to your advantage to gain track position when possible. For this challenge, the white flag is just waved at Hastings Motorsports Park, and after a miserable time qualifying, you're still near the back of the pack. However, your luck is about to change. There's a crash ahead of you, giving you a slim opportunity to finish near the top. Snake your way into the top 5, and you'll earn the bronze. 3rd will get you the silver, and a 1st place, of course, takes the gold.
The NASCAR Weekly Racing League can be a bit rough around the edges. There's a lot of pushing and shoving out there. As a driver, it is your job to keep cool during heated situations. Sometimes you'll get knocked out of position and lose valuable points in the standings. These kinds of events can quickly take you from first to worst, which brings us to just such a scenario. There are 3 laps to go at Baxter and you have just been spun out. Regain control of your car as quickly as possible and see if you can get back those positions. 5th or better is worth a bronze. An impressive 3rd place is needed for the silver. And if you can get back everything you lost, it will be 1st place and the gold.
Welcome to the 3rd chapter of Beat the Heat. Here you'll have to learn how to handle the lightweight NASCAR Featherlight modified car in a variety of racing situations. The quarters are tight and the racing is aggressive at the Denison Speedrome, which can only mean some exciting competition. With these racing conditions, some crashes are inevitable, and they initiate more than a little name-calling and finger-pointing. You begin this challenge at the back of the pack with 1 lap to go. Up ahead, 2 drivers turn it on a little too much for the final laps, find themselves headed for the wall. The tight pack behind them can't find much room to maneuver, and in a heartbeat, there's a real mess up ahead. Can you stay cool under the pressure and get through the crash squeaky clean? Make it through to 5th and you get the bronze, 3rd for the silver, and if you're really good, take the checkered flag without scuffing the paint. Go for it! Proper passing techniques are important to learn in any league, but even more important to learn when you're driving a modified ride because the car's tires are exposed. A little too much rubbing and your car's handling deteriorates dramatically. A few more bumps, you might just lose the whole wheel, not to mention the race. Now in this scenario, we're going to see how clean you can race. The setting is Elk River Raceway, and with a little more than a lap to go, you need to navigate through the pack and finish as close to the leader as possible. To pass this scenario, you'll need third for the bronze, second for the silver, and once again a first place finish will earn the gold. Now remember, you need to drive intelligently and under control here because you'll be disqualified if you hit anything. Let's take our NASCAR Featherlight Modified to a road course now, shall we? In NASCAR Heat, we put this car onto the Twisty at the Welch Valley Racing Complex. Now, the Welch course is home to one of the trickiest three-turn combinations in all of NASCAR Heat. Mastering the Gulch will give you a significant edge every time you race here. For this challenge, you're on the track at race speed and you're about to enter this difficult turn combination. Run through the section in a respectable 17.75 seconds, you'll earn the bronze. Drop a little time off that to 17.4 and you get the silver. Put it all together and turn a scorching 16.9 and the gold is yours. For your next stop, we're going to take you to Crystal Lake Raceway. It's a wide, fast track. Long straightaways and lazy corners allow high-speed driving almost all the way around. In this challenge, you'll have one lap to go and a whole bunch of cars to pass. The key will be keeping your speed and momentum up while still making the passes needed to get ahead. Third place takes the bronze, second earns the silver, and if you can get to the front fast, you'll take home the gold.
This next event takes place at Richmond and will give you an excellent opportunity to see exactly just how different modified cars behave compared to other car classes. For this challenge, you're at the head of the pack with 3 laps to go. However, some aggressive driving tactics used early in the race are beginning to show their effects on your car's handling. Your exposed tires took quite a beating as you pushed and shoved your way into first place. Can you hold on for the victory despite your flagging car? You'll need to be careful out there as more bumps could easily cut a tire. 5th place takes the bronze, 3rd for the silver, and of course 1st will be needed for the gold.
We're going back to the Welch Road course for this challenge. You're in 2nd place with 1 lap to go. Sounds pretty easy, right? Well, there's a surging field on your back bumper and slower lap traffic up ahead. Precise driving techniques are going to be required to finish this race successfully. The skills you learned in the previous Welch challenge should help you find your way to the front. 3rd place is good enough for the bronze this time, 2nd for the silver, and a 1st earns the gold. Good luck. Welcome to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Beat the Heat chapter. Over the course of this chapter, we're going to let you get familiar with NASCAR's fastest growing racing division. Now, crashes are an inevitable part of racing, and that includes the NASCAR Craftsman trucks. However, it's your job as a driver to do your best to steer clear of them, and when possible, even use them to your advantage. For this challenge, you'll take the wheel at New Hampshire International Speedway with 1 lap to go. But some overzealous driving up ahead is going to cause a chain reaction that results in a big mess. This is your opportunity, though. Can you successfully navigate your truck through the chaos and earn a few more spots? Or can you do even better than that and take home a shocking 1st place? 5th place will earn you the bronze, 3rd place the silver, and of course, if you make it all the way to the front, it's worth the gold. Now remember, trucks have more downforce and less horsepower, making them handle a bit differently than the Cup cars you might be used to, so be prepared to make adjustments to your driving habits. NASCAR fans have understood from the beginning the need to use restrictor plates at NASCAR's 2 fastest tracks. With the powerful engines and increasingly slippery aerodynamics of today's Cup cars, the speed would just simply be too high. But this doesn't mean the fans have lost their desire for speed. Remember how I mentioned that the NASCAR Craftsman trucks had less power and more downforce than the Cup cars? Well, one of the many ramifications of those differences is that the trucks don't need to run restrictor plates on the super speedways. So get ready to hit Daytona International Speedway with over 600 horsepower. While drafting still plays a large part in the strategy of racing at Daytona, the feel with your extra horsepower is very different. In this challenge, you'll need to work on using the draft and your extra horsepower to slingshot past as many drivers as you can in 4 laps. You'll be starting at the back of the pack. If you pass most of the field and make it to 5th place, you get the bronze, 3rd place for the silver, and of course, if you get to the front, you'll take 1st place in the gold. Every driver dreads it, but it still happens to even the best of them, the spin. Now, there are any number of reasons it can happen: contact with another driver, a loose setup, even debris on the track. Drivers do everything they can to avoid them, but once they happen, they're faced with the challenge of making the best of a bad situation. For this next challenge, we're putting you in just such a situation. With 3 laps to go at California Speedway, you've just clipped the apron, sending you spinning and quite possibly ruining your chances for a top finish. To turn this from horror to heroics, you need to regain control of your truck as quickly as possible. Try to fight your way back into the top 5 to earn the bronze. Place in the top 3 for the silver, and if you manage to make it all the way to the front, you will have earned the gold and the respect of your crew. Pit strategy plays an important role in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, and it's no different for the trucks. More than a few crew chiefs have made or lost their reputations trying to outfox the competition in the pits. Your next scenario puts you in a situation that looks good so far, but if you aren't careful, could easily end up with a last place finish. First, the good news. With 3 laps to go at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you have a large lead. Unfortunately, you're almost out of gas and your tires are worn down to the cords. You need to get into and out of pit row before being caught by the pack. Sound easy? Well, you just have to avoid blowing a tire by running too hard, getting a black flag for speeding into pit road, the speed limit's 45 by the way, and spinning out if your engine sputters out of gas. Easy, right? Well, keep all this in mind and you should easily then be able to come in 5th place for the bronze, 3rd place for the silver, or once again, the gold if you win it all. You can't win a championship if you can't win at the short tracks. They say it for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, and if it's true for them, then it's even more true for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, which race an even larger proportion of their events on tracks that are a mile or less in length. Now, there are a lot of things that make driving the short tracks difficult, but one of the most challenging is dealing with lap traffic while at the same time battling for the lead. Here's the scene. You're at Martinsville Speedway, just coming out from your final pit stop of the race. There are 5 laps to go and you've got a fresh set of tires and you're well positioned to pick up a few spots. But besides the leaders, you've got a lot of lap traffic that stand between you and the finish line. Do you have the skill to push your truck to the limit and even earn yourself a top finish? 5th place is good enough for the bronze, 3rd for the silver, and 1st takes the gold. Good luck.
Hi race fans, I'm Mike Skinner, driver of the number 4 Kodak Winston Cup ride, and also the winner of the first ever Truck Series Championship in 1995. So I think I know a little something about winning races in a NASCAR Craftsman truck. Okay, you're ready for your final exam in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Beat the Heat section. This challenge will require you to use a little bit of everything that you've learned so far if you want to take home the gold. With 3 laps to go at Texas Motor Speedway, you have the only truck on the track that hasn't pitted yet. You have bad tires, low fuel, and some repair work that needs to be done. You are in 1st place, but the field is swiftly gaining on you. Knowing that you can't finish the race without another pit stop, the big question becomes, what is the winning pit strategy? You need a 5th place finish for the bronze, 3rd for the silver, and to take the gold and impress this former champion, 1st is the only place to finish.
Sterling Marlin is having his best season in a long time in 2002, and nowhere has the strength of the Silver Bullet team been more convincingly displayed than after Sterling's incredible worst-to-first performance at Darlington. For this challenge, we're going to give you a chance to repeat this amazing performance at a bit of an accelerated pace. With 4 laps to go, you have the entire field ahead of you. Can you match Sterling's drive? With 5th place, you get the bronze, 3rd the silver, but nothing less than 1st place gets you the gold. Good luck! The Dale Earnhardt Incorporated team has shown over the last 2 seasons that they know how to get it done at the superspeedways. Indeed, one of the most exciting races of 2001 was Earnhardt Jr.'s emotional victory at the Pepsi 400 in Daytona. With 4 laps left, we're going to put you into the number 8 ride and see if you can show the same poise under pressure that Junior did. You'll need 5th place or better for the bronze, 3rd for the silver, and a win just like Little E if you want the trophy and the gold. Love him or hate him, there are few fans out there who wouldn't admit, if grudgingly, that Jeff Gordon is one heck of a race car driver. One of the strongest examples we've seen this season of this talent was during the Darlington race, when a large wreck at lap 226 took out almost half the field. Despite being right in the thick of the action, the 24 car sailed through the chaos without even a nick in the paint job. Think you've got the nerves to pull off a similar miracle? Well, the wreck has just occurred in front of you, and the goal is to race back to the line as fast as possible as the yellow flag's been thrown. Get back to the line in 5th place for the bronze, 3rd for the silver, and if you get there first, you'll snag the gold. Oh, and just in case you think this one might be a little too easy for you, you have to make it through the mess without hitting anything or leaving the track, just like Jeff.
Sometimes the goal in racing is not just to get to the front, but to stay there. Such is the case in our next challenge. We're going to plunk you down at the end of a hard run at Bristol Motor Speedway. While you have the lead, your car is pretty beat up and you have a number of top drivers breathing down your neck. You'll need to block your way to victory lane this time. Just how wide can you make that Cup car? Let's see how wide you make my car for this challenge. Stay in the top 5 for a bronze, 3rd for a silver, and if no one can get by you, you'll take home the gold. In my respect,
Hey fans, Ryan Newman here again. For the 4th challenge in the NASCAR Winston Cup chapter, we go to Talladega Superspeedway. At first glance, things are looking pretty good as you have a huge lead. However, this lead is not without consequence. You haven't had a full pit stop in quite a while and your tires are on the verge of blowing out. You need to delicately guide your car to the pits for a tire change. Are you able to make it to pit road, change tires and win the race? Hold on to 5th place for a bronze, 3rd gets you a silver, and 1st for the Beat the Heat gold.
Things were looking good for you at the Infineon Raceway. Looking good, that is, until the final lap when a nudge by Dale Jarrett sends your car spinning. You'll need all your skills to regain control of your car and then charge hard for the final lap, hoping to make up as much ground as you can. You'll earn the bronze for coming in 5th place, a silver for 3rd, and a gold for 1st.
Hi, I'm Dave Blaney, driver of the 77 Jasper Motorsports Winston Cup ride. And while I love racing with the big boys, dirt track racing is one of my favorite pastimes. Okay fans, you're entering the home stretch in this year's Beat the Heat challenges. For your final dirt scenario, we're going to tear it up at the Canyon Valley Speedway. You're racing up front with the leaders and in good shape, but a minor altercation sends you off your racing line and off the track. What do you do now? You have 2 choices, but you must decide quickly. Do you drive through this area or turn around and get back on the track? With 3 laps left, can you steer your car to a 1st place finish? Racing back to 5th place will get you the bronze, 3rd place earns you the silver, but to be awarded your last NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Beat the Heat gold, you need to win this race. Good luck.
For this next scenario, we head back to Virginia for another go at Martinsville Speedway. This time you're in a modified ride with 10 laps to go and you're in 10th place. Unfortunately, there are some lap cars between you and the leaders, and on top of that, there are also a few cars behind you desperately trying to get by. Your challenge is to not only hold off the charging field, but to navigate through the slower traffic and work your way back into the top 3. Sound easy? Well, we're not done just yet. Just to make it even more interesting, your tires are worn too, so be very careful passing as you may blow them, and your only shot at victory. 3rd place is good enough for the bronze, 2nd will get you the silver, and only a 1st place finish can bring you the last NASCAR Featherlight Modified Beat the Heat gold. Go get 'em. According to series rules, NASCAR Craftsman truck races cannot end under a caution. In this scenario, you're under caution and the restart is moments away. With only 5 laps to go, there'll be a mad dash for the checkered flag. You've just traded track position for tires and some repair work by pitting under the yellow. Now, although you managed to stay on the lead lap, you're back in 25th place. But with your driving skills and a freshly pitted truck, you should have the tools to win it all. Can you come from behind and pull off the miracle? 3rd place is good for the bronze, 2nd place earns you the silver, and as always, an impressive 1st place finish brings home the final NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Beat the Heat gold. Floor it!
we usually remember who won a race, but how many of us remember who came in 2nd? Hey there race fans, I'm Steve Park, driver of the #1 Pennzoil rod, and there are a few pit strategies that provide you with the opportunity to finish in the top 10 every event. But near the end of a race, there's usually one call that gives you the chance to win. We're sending you to Lowe's Motor Speedway to see if you and your pit crew can put you in a position to win this race. You're in third place with just over 7 laps to go. Your entire field still has 1 pit stop left. Your tires are bad, you're almost out of fuel, and your car has a little bit of damage. What pit strategy will give you a winning opportunity? Stay in third place and secure the bronze, second place finish delivers the silver, and a very impressive first place finish earns you the respect of your peers and the coveted final NASCAR Winston Cup Series Beat the Heat Gold Trophy.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series started only a short time ago in 1995, but ever since its first race at the Homestead Miami Speedway, it's been the fastest growing league in NASCAR. The popularity of the league has been attributed to many things: America's love of trucks, the competitiveness of the field. Why, some even think that since these trucks are a bit tougher than their shorter four-wheeled siblings, they're able to do more door-to-door racing than found in the more prestigious series. The start of this year's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is about to get underway at Daytona. One of the trucks to watch this year has to be the Sears Die Hard Racing Team's number 202 ride, driven by none other than last year's reigning NASCAR Featherlight Modified champion. With success in both the Modified League and on the dirt, the Sears Die Hard team's confident that within a season or two, theirs will be the truck team to beat.